Welcome everybody to the Side Eye Podcast. A little Sunday night react to the last or yesterday afternoon's game between our beloved Cyclones and the Ohio Bobcats. 43-10 was the final of that, and going off of our. I'm blocking up the whole thing.
What's going on?
Y'all seeing some football stuff. But predictions. I had it 38-9. BJ had it 35-10. Pipes, you had it 42-7. So, I mean, you were. I mean, we were all pretty much right there, but yep. you were right there.
Yes.
The game went as though we thought it would, and hoped it would, and thought it should.
Yeah, how we hoped it would,
Yeah.
But there's always that worry, that little letdown.
Yeah, and Cyclones jumped out to a fast start and never looked back. There's always a hangover after a huge win, and that was a huge win, beating Iowa, and there was no hangover. Clones came out, took care of business, put their foot on the gas pedal, and did not let off. So that was good to see. Let's just break it down. First half, it was that first drive. I thought they did whatever they wanted to.
Yeah.
What y'all think?
Looked sharp. I mean, they just came out doing what they wanted to do, and it was just good to see. Because how many times have we seen? You're playing a MAC team or hell, even FCS, and we just come out flat for some reason, and it just seems like a trip to the dentist, but didn't have any of that. Came out fast. It was 24-0 right in by the first few minutes of the second quarter, I think.
Yep. 13:07 left. It was in the second. It was 24-0.
And offense and defense were both doing it, because didn't the defense get that turnover on Ohio's second possession or so? It was one of the earlier possessions, but so it's good to see.
Definitely good to see.
DJ.
I mean, not a whole lot to add. To be honest, you're right. They handled it, took control, did what they were supposed to do. It was neat to hear that was the first turnover that Ohio had all season long. So that was cool to see.
Yeah.
Great read. William texted, hey, I could have got there too. They were opening up. They were opening up holes. The line. I forgot which one of you said total domination, but yeah, that's what it was.
That was probably Pipes. That sounds like something he'd say.
No, you texted him that.
I texted that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Really?
Yes.
I must have been channeling my head Pipes.
I'd be too nervous to text something like that. worry about bringing on some sort
But
of...
it was a great read, though. It was a great read. He was in the right spot.
Yeah.
Capitalized off it. That was awesome to see.
Absolutely.
McDonald got his first sack of the season.
Yeah, and I guess that was breaking the all-time ISU record too. I didn't know
Awesome.
I forgot that he was tied. They tied it at the end of the season.
Yeah.
But yes, so now he's the man.
And I saw if Hutchinson averages, obviously, if he keeps his pace, he should break Lazard's all-time receptions record or receiving record too. If he has seven catches a game for the rest of the season, which
I believe that is highly possible.
Yeah.
Definitely highly possible. So we had Deckers. Deckers got it on the board first with that 6-yard run, and then Hanukkah caught his second touchdown of the season. Could become the new Charlie Kohler.
Yeah, I mean he looks good catching the ball. I mean yeah.
And like Kohler, he seems to just find himself open.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like weird. I'm like, that's a pretty big dude to just be waltzing around the secondary, just wide open at times. And Deckers is comfortable with him, obviously. Then we got a field goal, 19-yard field goal. I mean, extra point, really. Then we had 17-0 right at the beginning of the third, and then get the ball right back. Silas breaks that long run, and it's like, make sure you give him the ball, let him finish that off. And
yeah, that was good.
Boom, he gets his touchdown. It's 24-0, and it's cruise control. I actually saw some people heading back to their tailgates.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, when we were walking out, you could tell a lot of those people had been there for a while.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. They get a field goal, 24-3, and then Shaw catches his 15-yard touchdown, and we got 30-3.
They got their field goal after Deckers fumbled, right?
That was
I'm pretty sure.
That was second half, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, they only had the one field goal in the first half.
I was thinking for some reason I was thinking that was after he fumbled, but
so yeah, it's nice to. I mean, not that we all don't love Mr. X, but it's nice to see other dudes getting involved in the reception score, touchdown scoring.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he still was a target hog, but everyone else did capitalize off the catches that they made, at the targets they received. So that was good to see.
Definitely.
Yeah, I thought it was good to see Sean Shaw. I mean, he's just getting back. He's just making himself more of a presence again. You know.
And I was hoping he would continue that string of big wide receivers that Iowa State utilizes, that we've had over the last few years with the Lazard and the Butler. So, but I mean, Deckers looks like he's still going to be hitting it steady Eddie, hitting Hutchinson left and right, and on the slants and on the little curls and wherever. I'd like to see Noel get some a little more, just because I'm like, if he catches that ball in that open field, it could be lights out. But I mean, it's I guess that's nitpicking when you win 43-10.
Yeah, he had. I mean, Deckers had him open over that long one over the middle in the first quarter. Was it the first half? I can't remember if it was the first quarter, but just overthrew him a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, but he's spreading it around. So that's. I mean, obviously, yeah, Hutchinson's the main target, but he is spreading it around to everybody. So that's cool.
And it's spreading it around enough that sure, teams are going to key on Hutchinson, but they also can't just be like, we're going to leave everybody else alone and only focus on this dude. It's good that we got a tight end catching the ball. Now these teams are like, oh shit, they got this again. Because last year that was an obvious threat.
Yeah,
Purdy loved Kohler.
Yep.
So if you don't cover him, you're in trouble. Well, I'm not saying Hanukkah is Kohler, but it's good that he's becoming a factor in the offense.
Yeah, because there were a question mark coming into
They're
season.
one of my biggest question marks.
Yeah, and they had big shoes to fill too. So yeah, they seem to be coming along also.
Yeah. Even Russ has caught a couple passes.
Yep.
Coming out that
They get him
backfield.
out in the flat there. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we got to see healthy dose of the 3 of the 4 running backs. Like I said before, Silas had that nice long run right before he had got his touchdown. But Brock had 7 touches, had 7 carries. Silas had 10. Sanders had 8. So nice, steady. I mean, Sanders didn't have the yards that the other 2 had, but still, it's nice to have him get 8 carries.
Yep.
Because going forward, he is going to be part of the. Next season he's going to be part of that load. We're going to be right back where we're at, trying to figure out who exactly is going to be the starter. And
dude, I think if you look, Brock's only junior.
But
junior.
Yeah, he's still going to have the 1, but I think it's the way they're running it now, with everybody getting a semi-even amount of touches.
Yeah,
I think there's going to be that spring competition. I think is going to be pretty live for.
Oh yeah,
who's going to be 1 out of 1A, B, C, and D, or E if some freshman shows up and it's just out of this world, But let's see. 9 different people cop passes yesterday. So I think the passing game is looking better now than it did last year.
I think
because
would agree.
You agree?
I think so. Yeah.
And
he's yeah.
VJ.
I would wait to say whether it is or isn't. We've had the Hawkeyes and we had this game, and
yeah.
I'll wait till we get into the conference.
Well, and I think, and I guess I say that, but I guess last year we also had an individual named Brees Hall.
Yeah.
So that I think there's been a more concerted effort this season to get the passing game going, as opposed to previous season where it was like we're gonna pass some, but we're gonna run, but we're still gonna try to run more. But I think it's obvious, as they said, we're gonna throw the ball, and they're throwing the ball. So I guess if you if that's what you're gonna do, I guess it is gonna look better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's had a little easier schedule than last year too, because Southeast Missouri isn't as good as UNI was.
No.
So who knows?
This is true.
But
this is true.
I think it's looking good though.
Yeah. Defense. Defense did you give up 10 points. You're doing a bang up job when 10 points is all you're giving up, and a team who hadn't had any turnovers now has 3. So shout out to the defense for what they were able to do.
Getting good pressure on the quarterback. Two of those turnovers were fumbles off of sacks, weren't they?
Yeah.
The one Anderson caused, and the other one was I think it was that McLaughlin, the freshman linebacker. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was good to see.
Anthony Johnson gets his first pick after switching positions.
Yeah, that was good.
First pick of his career. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is kind of wild to say that this dude's It's due to his final season. It's just getting that pick.
Yeah.
But they just look like they had Ohio out of sorts.
Oh, for sure.
Pretty much the whole game.
The other thing I thought was interesting, they started picking on us with a little flat pass, and that ended up being that was the one that Reader ended up sniffing out and taking. Yeah. So that was another good thing I thought, that they figured out how to stop that and take it away from them. So I would like to see him take that one to the house, but close.
Yes. Agreed.
Lazard just scored for the Packers.
Did he?
Yep.
Man, I didn't put him in my lineup, though. It wouldn't have mattered. I'm getting smoked. Dude, I had Lamar Jackson and Nick Chubb, and that was like 110 points just between the two of them. So, yeah. No hope for me.
Right.
Special teams. 42-yard field goal.
Yes.
I still think dude kicks him a little low for my taste.
He does. I'm curious if that's why that one got blocked. I haven't watched that on the replay yet. The one extra point.
Yeah. I haven't watched it either. But yeah, that's obviously it. I mean, we just have a special teams concern going forward. Who wants to? I'm not going to do it. But who wants to talk about the punter?
I mean, I'd like to see it go a little faster. That's all I'm going to say about that. I mean, I'm sure they'll figure it out.
That's what we thought. I mean, I thought Ohio, if Ohio had made a more concerted effort, I think they could have got it.
Yeah.
And got a block. All right. It's just this dude he just might have to go to a one-step punt. And then we just cover great.
Yeah.
Because now we're about to go up against a team with super athletes.
Yeah.
And their punt return team is gotta just be salivating at watching that dude punt like he's Slowpoke Rodriguez.
Jeez. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why we lost to him last year. We gave up a freaking kickoff return for a touchdown. That was basically the difference of the game against Baylor last year. But I'm sure we'll talk about that more on Wednesday. So.
Yeah. I guess I really didn't pay much attention because I don't know, I was tired or whatever. How was the kick coverage? How would you think the kick coverage was?
I mean, we gave up that one long kickoff return, but other than that, we were good. I mean, overall, I think, other than the punts, I think the special teams has been good this year. So, but yeah.
Well, BJ, you've been kind of silent. You got anything you want to throw in there? Or you just in total agreement?
I mean, yeah, I am, but it's a huge win, and I feel like we're trying to find things, to pick apart. And I mean, I do think they'll get it going as far as the punter is concerned. I get that. I'm just anxious for the Big 12.
Yes.
Here to get here, just to see how we really look.
Right.
That's what I'm really anxious to see. I mean, we beat Ohio, and I think we beat them like we were supposed to, which is great. and I agree the passing game looks good right now. But again, outside of Xavier, I want to see what that looks like when we get into the conference play.
Yeah, see how he. It'll be interesting to see how he does too. See, I mean, I have no reason not to believe that he won't keep up his pace. I mean, because he's done it. He's done it before in the Big 12. So, yeah.
Nice.
What's that?
Well, now look at the sign down here.
Oh,
That's what I do. I'm a nitpicker.
I just. Oh my gosh. Well, it's good to see. We got to see a lot of guys play though.
Yes.
Yeah. What'd you think of the backup quarterbacks, William?
So we started off the season. The depth chart for the first game has Cook as the backup and Beck as third string, but in the game, Beck ends up being the backup. It's kind of hard to tell in these kind of situations, because that's the thing about coming in as a backup is you don't get to run the same things that the first string did.
Right.
So you get the more watered down version of the playbook,
right?
Because they're not going to try to run over the top of people, and so
they did keep the first string line in for him. Though. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, excuse me. Well, let's look at the numbers. I mean, Rocco comes in. He was 0-2. One pass was a bad pass.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember that. I can't remember why the other one was incomplete. So he got his series. I think he only got one series.
Oh, really? I thought he had two.
Did he have two? So we just ran the rest of it?
Why don't
yeah, he was 0-2, and he had one carry for 2 yards.
Right.
Cook was 4-4 for 32 yards.
Yeah, he had that nice seam pass.
Yeah.
To Moore down the seam.
So, I mean, on paper, Cook looked better, but and it might have. I guess I don't know what plays were being called specifically, but I mean, yeah. So I mean, obviously, Cook looked better than Beck. Is he? I don't know.
Yeah,
but
well, he's been around longer. I mean,
yeah, and it's just hard to tell in a limited action. I mean, hopefully it stays that way.
Yes. Yeah, because if not,
that means something bad happened.
That drastically changes our outlook on the season.
Yeah, something bad happened, and we do not want anything bad to happen. So hopefully they'll just figure this out at another time.
Yeah.
But I don't know what y'all think. Who'd you like? Who you like it better in a limited time of what we've seen?
I mean, I thought Cook looked sharp, like I said, but that probably has he's been around longer, so might have had less nerves. I don't know. So
yeah, based off the short time frame.
Yeah.
Nod goes to Cook as well.
Yep. So, what happened?
What happened?
What's that?
Yeah, I just said the same thing. What happened?
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, it's good. I mean, the second string defense played almost the whole. I mean, I thought it was almost a quarter and a half for the second string defense.
Yeah.
But that's one thing. Hickok's never been afraid to rotate linebackers in as far as, or linebackers or safeties, So, but yeah, that was good. That was good to see that.
Yeah. So I mean, we beat them up, just like we were supposed to. who was the player of the game, star of the game, MVP, whatever we want to call it. Is it Deckers with his 28-36 for 268, 3 touchdowns?
Hey,
Hutchinson.
I wonder what's his season completion percentage? Can you bring that up? What is
What's his what?
Completion percentage for the season so far? Because he was almost like 80% on Saturday, wasn't he?
Let's find out.
I mean, before one gets to that, I'd lean toward him as well. I mean, you had decent running game, but one was a long run. I liked, Xavier. That was kind of expected. But yeah, I thought Deckers had a really, really solid game.
I'm going to go with Silas. I thought he was just nice and consistent and running hard. So I think he'll be mine.
Well,
I mean, for me, it's hard to give it to a running back just because they were so even and consistent with the number of teams they had.
Yeah, I hear you. I think every win will probably be able to say Hutchinson and Deckers. I just think that
at this rate, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it seems like that's they try to establish that right away. It seems like they have every game this year that we want to get Hutchinson to touch as soon as we can. So
yeah, I agree. I mean, we can just give it out dual because you really can't have one without the other.
Yep.
Cool. So you asked about his percentage, his completion percentage.
Yeah.
He's at 74%.
Nice.
One of the things I'd like to know is the average yards before first contact for the running backs, because that line was opening up some huge holes.
Yeah. And they were even against Iowa. They were always pushed. They were downhill. They were always downhill.
Well, I can't give you that. So.
No.
I don't do so much of that. All right, so big Cyclone win. Our competitors
3-0, hell yeah! First time since Steel Jans.
3-0. We got one more game, and then October shows up. And guess what? It can still be Brocktober.
Exactly. Yes. Hey, you know what? And if Brock has a good October, I think that'll be another good October for the Cyclones.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Well, since we got the Big 12 schedule coming up, Big 12, I mean, it's been an interesting ride so far. No more interesting than the fact that Kansas just keeps on winning.
Yeah. That road trip looks like it's getting a little harder.
Well, I tell you, it's Kansas is. It just all depends. If somebody can stop their quarterback, Kansas will lose.
Yeah.
Nobody's just been able to stop their quarterback, and he's just flat out beating teams by himself.
Yeah.
Through the air and on the ground, and that's why they are sitting atop the conference right now.
Yes, I want to know. They already beat West Virginia.
The only conference game that's been played, but
yeah.
There they sit 1-0 and also 3-0 overall. But you know, they got Duke and then they got us. That Duke game's going to be hard for them, and then we come to town. And
Is Duke on the road?
No, it's at
no,
Kansas.
it's in Kansas.
Hey, speaking of that, did they say where game day was going to be this week?
Not yet.
I know they were trying to get him to Lawrence because that's one of the 5 places they haven't been yet.
I mean, and Duke's 3-0 too.
Yeah, they beat Northwestern.
Yes, they did. Beat Temple, beat Northwestern, and North Carolina A&T. So yes, that is a possibility of a spot that they could go. I doubt that they would pick that over us and Baylor, but you never know.
Yeah,
it could be one of those. Yeah, we've never been there before. They go there and talk about basketball.
Yeah, no kidding.
Appalachian State.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
But I mean, you got 5 undefeated Big 12 schools right now. Kansas, OU, Okie State, TCU, and then us. Baylor, K-State, Texas, and Texas Tech all have 1 loss. West Virginia has the 2.
I tried watching that Texas Tech North Carolina State game last night, but they had a long injury delay. Guy got hurt.
Oh my God! Did you see the injury?
No, what was it? That's kind of why I switched it. I don't
nasty leg break.
I saw he got basically a helmet under the chin, and what happened?
Well, see, the crazy thing about it is I didn't even see the actual injury until after.
Okay.
So what happens, it was like 4 dudes match collision. Yeah. So what you had was two dudes hit each other. Mm-hmm. There were 3 defenders and the running back. Running back is getting tackled by one dude, and the tackler smashes into his teammate.
Yeah.
While another dude was coming over the top, trying not to get late hit, he ends up jamming his head into the ground. Mm-hmm. That's the dude I was looking at.
Oh.
And then I look down and I see the actual injury. What ended up causing the delay was the dude who got hit by his teammate, mm-hmm. his leg had gotten buckled up underneath and it snapped. Snapped his leg, bone came through the skin.
Yeah, I thought it was like a jaw injury or something.
Yeah, no. I thought it was the dude who hit his head. I was like, oh shit. This dude probably just jacked up his neck. He kind of got up and kind of staggered away, and I'm like, and I happened to just look down the screen, and I was like, oh snap. No pun intended, but that was a nasty injury.
I hate seeing that.
I mean, that was Theismann-esque, Paul George on the esque.
I couldn't watch that either.
Yeah, it was nasty. And they showed it one more time, then they stopped. Then they didn't show it again. But yeah, that was a bad one, man. That was bad. But yeah, no longer delayed than the Iowa game.
Jeez.
And then, of course, somebody had to make a joke that said, see, who said Peters can't play on Sundays?
Brutal.
Yeah, but K-State losing was a surprise.
Yes, surprising.
That was
and beautiful at the same time.
That was a surprise. I mean, shout out.
Dude, have you seen how Martinez is playing?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I'll tell you why they run. I'll tell you why they lost. I'm just looking at the stats right now. You know why they lost? 31 passing attempts. That's that's not using Martinez to his strength. Martinez is an option quarterback. That's why he was at Nebraska, because they wanted to run the option. Well, they ain't. But him throwing 31 passes ain't gonna win you the game. It's just not. You're asking him to do what he can do, but that's not his strength.
Yeah.
I mean, I think sometimes these coaches are fucking outsmarting themselves. It's just let people be who the hell they are. I mean, shoot.
But obviously, they weren't running the ball though. I mean, they weren't able to run the ball on Tulane.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Vaughn had 81 yards on 20 carries.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, sometimes it's just the team got your number. They just, I mean, it looks like K-State had the ball longer. Didn't have any turnovers, where Tulane had two. Here it is. Third down, 2 of 15.
That's brutal.
2 of 15. But yeah, you're not beating anybody. You say I had the ball for 31 minutes and all I can convert was 2 third downs. Hopefully we see that in a month.
Yes.
That's K-State I want to see.
Exactly.
Who can't move the ball and is going 2 of 15 on third down and 1 of 5 on fourth down.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I did see one dude on Twitter was saying, he's like, Iowa State can't really make fun of bad September losses. Well, yeah, you got a point there.
But we will.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, especially when
I'll make fun of all the bad September losses I want to. It's like because I can.
Yep.
Shit. Because they would too. If the roles were reversed. So, but yeah, that was the surprise. Big 12 game. Then again, I mean, KU was a little bit of a surprise as well.
I think so. I don't think Houston's as good. I can't stand Dana Holgorsen. So, but I don't think Houston's as good as everybody's making them out to be. But I mean, we'll see.
Well, I think they just
because they shouldn't have beat Texas San Antonio. I watched some of that game, but they got lucky on that. So.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's some personnel losses we don't see. I mean, you still. I mean, Tune's there. They still got Tazan Henry. I mean, they still got their people. Well, I mean, Tune was their leading rusher, so I don't know. I don't know. I just thought that they would beat Kansas, but Jalen Daniels ain't no joke.
Yep.
I mean, shit, 5 touchdowns and 158 through the air and 123 on the ground. But I mean, we saw that against OU. He beat Texas.
Yeah.
So, I mean. If we mess around, he gonna beat us too.
Yep.
I mean, I've said it all the time. The damn mobile quarterbacks bother the hell out of me. That's why Kansas game worries me. That's why the K-State game worries me. When you got QBs that can actually run, those situations bother me, especially with the type of defense that we run.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we're only rushing 3 and we're dropping, 8 dudes back in coverage, that leaves a whole lot of green for athletic quarterbacks to eat us up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like we haven't faced it before, but you know, all it takes is for one dude to get off, and the next thing you know, we're taking an L.
Yeah.
So, anybody else got anything on the Big 12?
Dude, so I saw that 60-yard or 61-yard run, that Dylan Gabriel run. Man, that dude was pulling a wagon. I was like, how did nobody catch this guy? And that was like the longest 60-yard run I've ever seen. But other than that,
That's why that man's out of a job.
yeah. I mean, UTSA was hanging with Texas until they threw pick six in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Kind of blew things open.
Yeah.
So I think the Big 12 is still wide open. I mean, I know Oklahoma's been rolling, but I mean, obviously they haven't. I mean, their schedule's been easy.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think the idea of scheduling Nebraska was everybody thought Nebraska was going to be a better team than they are,
Right.
which was going to be Nebraska was going to be their heavy game this season.
yeah.
Well, that's not.
Nope.
So there it is. Your Ohio Bobcat recap. 43-10 for the good guys.
3-0.
3-0, baby.
Bring on the Bears.
All right. Well, and look for us at the end of the week for that Baylor preview. Appreciate everybody who has been watching us so far. Keep watching. Take your friends that like the Cyclones. Take your friends that don't like the Cyclones. Maybe we can convince them to like the Cyclones, or at least like us.
Well, we're going to be having a real serious talk with Gerald this Wednesday.
For real.
Oh, shoot.
For real. Cool. All right, man, people. Go Cyclones.
Go Cyclones.
Go Cyclones.